Live from the Washington, D.C. area, it's the Inside Scoop, Emerald Planet. All the ecology news that our viewers want to know. Now, here's your host, Executive Director of the Emerald Planet, Dr. Sam Lee Hancock.
Hello and welcome to you as we come from Washington, D.C. in the United States as we look around the globe in 144 different nations, looking for those 1,000 best practices, the technology, services, and products that are making a difference as we move through the 21st century. And as we add have a plan of 9 billion people and possibly going to 12 to 13 billion by the end of the century, how are we going to provide all of the basic infrastructure it's needed, specifically the water? At one time, people thought that energy was going to be the #1 topic and the greatest challenge, but actually, as the world continues to seem to dry out, is that water is going to be the paramount issue. And I have a gentleman sitting right beside me who has dedicated his life's career to the whole essence of water. This is Taft Gaddy, who is the CEO of Artesian Water Partners, LLC, and he's also an educator, goes to schools, and he goes by the moniker of Mr. Waterman. Mr. Waterman, welcome to the Emerald Planet.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
Well, we met at the International Water Tasting, and as I said, you were the hit of the show. No matter where you were with all these dozens, hundreds of people, you could always tell where Mr. Waterman was. Yeah. So thank you for joining us. Tell us a little bit about Artesian Water Partners and also this unique persona, Mr. Waterman.
Well, Artesian Water Partners was created back in 2009, but Mr. Waterman was created a lot earlier, back in 1989. I had answered a blind ad and saw that it was an opportunity to learn more about the water business, and once they showed me what the inside of a pipe looked like, it grossed me out, and I just knew that, you know, kids need to be drinking this water, neither their parents, so I instantly developed a disgust for how bad the water really was, traveling through our pipes and coming into our home. So I dipped right into the water business at that time.
Yeah, I tell you, when you look at the the delivery system, they say water in most cases is actually fairly pure when it's coming out of the processing plant or from the springs or what have you. But when it goes into the transmission system, that is the real problem. What is the problem with the transmission systems? That age or lack of care, or all of the above? What's the issue?
Actually, from my research over 25 years, I first went to my first water plant in Detroit, and I toured the facility, and which most facilities are handled in the same fashion. And I realized that you're putting chemicals in the water to treat the water. Right. And I don't think you can really put chemicals in to treat water when you're trying to take the chemicals out. So that was the first thing I was kind of concerned about, but I mean, they had to do what they had to do. And then I thought about, well, these pipes have been in the ground for many, many decades, and so everything the water comes in contact with, it collects. So if this pipe been here 60, 70 years because the infrastructure is so bad in these cities and municipalities, so by the time it gets to your home, it has collected a myriad of different types of sediments and things. Then it comes out of that faucet after it goes through the pipes in your home. Now, if you're living in one of those old homes, you got galvanized pipes, which certainly has the slime and the green particles and stuff that you would see in those pipes that actually come out your water faucet, and you know how you can unscrew the cap, and you can see little rocks and things. Right. That's the stuff you can see. What about the stuff you can't?
Well, the whole thing about that too is that you're looking at in some of the cities in the United States, some of these water systems were put in the colonial days, and some of the piping, if you can call it that, actually is still wood. And so you can imagine how old that is. That's going back, you know, several hundred years in some of these cities. And many of them are trying to improve, but it's billions, actually over $1 trillion worth of demand as far as going through and replacing all these pipes. But why would you want to dedicate your whole professional career to the understanding of and knowledge about water?
Well, it was because I saw how bad the water was. I just couldn't get it out of my mind. After looking at that pipe, I couldn't take it any longer. So what I did was I got with this, at the time, industry giant Water Resources International, and they trained and showed us different types of systems that can purify the water at your point of entry or the point of use in your home. And one unit was a reverse osmosis, which purifies your water at 1/1000th of a micron, close to an angstrom. And I learned a lot about that. I eventually started making my own because it was a fascinating device that purified drinking water. And so the main thing right now, because of the water solutions, while state and local and federal authorities will continue to do the best to ensure that we get the very best water possible, they cannot undo all the dangers to our water sources that had taken decades of ignorance and abuse to inflict. So we alone must safeguard the water we drink and the water we serve our families.
So this is one of the things is the whole thing is to try to make it the best it can from the delivery system that's going out, regardless of the locality, because there are many small municipalities, even down to village sizes, that are providing water. And so again, it's just how you monitor it, but also guarantee the safety. And of course, there's many, there's just thousands more chemicals coming out almost a year-to-year basis.
Sure.
And many times you can't even test for it.
No.
Because they don't know what's in the water.
And what's important, that's why it's important that moving forward, that everyone should have their own clean water system in their home to assure that they're getting the very best water possible. So where they clean the water at the point of use, right where you use it.
Yeah, and this is something too that no matter where you are, people have, there's different flavors to water, as we know through the international water tasting after what it was some 300 different waters we had to go through and sample over those 3 days. And it's amazing that even though it's ever so subtle, that water from different areas does have a different taste to it. And of course it has different chemical properties and different minerals from the local area.
Sure. And that's basically based on the geographic location of where the water comes from. And, you know, like some folks here in D.C., you know, we have the Potomac River here. Detroit, you got the Detroit River. So you got the plants putting in all kinds of, dumping all kinds of chemicals in the water, you know. Then here you got all kind of chemicals going into the water from these major companies. And then pharmaceuticals, everyday homeowners are all contributing to the water source. And so that's why we have different types of chemicals in waters, because the waters, depending on the geographic location, is why it is what it is. And so in them using chlorine and other chemicals to clean the water to make it available to drink, potable water to drink. However, they cannot undo all the dangers. Once again, that's there. So it's important that we utilize bottled water. Okay, it's fine, and then we really want to try to have our own point of use system in our home. Yeah,
and one of the things too, and of course, this is coming down to a debate. Some cities and towns are actually banning bottled water being sold within the town and city limits. So that's something else that's before as far as, you know, the political process. So depending on where you are is, you know, what it's going to be.
You know, I don't think I would let anyone politicize my securing my family having clean, healthy water. That's not going to happen. You're in control of your own destiny, and if you know you can get purified, healthy water for your family to drink, I don't think you would let anybody tell you, Doc, that you can't drink clean, healthy water for you.
Oh no, I didn't say that. I said as far as bottled water.
Yeah, bottled water is clean. Some bottled water is clean and healthy for you.
Yeah, yeah. But this is one of the things that many localities, it's just like even in Washington D.C. they say take it from the tap, forget the bottled water, and so that's just, you know, that's not on the horizon. It's already out there.
So let me ask you, since you mentioned that. So if everyone took a look at that pipe and saw what was coming out of that pipe, would that jurisdiction really tell the people to drink the water after you can see what's inside of that pipe? Really?
The whole thing is that it's in the ground and nobody can see it. So that's the whole issue about all that.
And that's my reason for being in the water business.
There you go. You've
that's my purpose.
Question. That's right.
That is my purpose.
Going back to vision mission then, is to make sure everybody has clean and decent drinking water.
Yes.
What else? Because I know you're very involved in the schools.
Yes.
You work with educators throughout the United States.
Well, you know, kids, because at the time when I first found out about how bad the water was, I had some little sons, and I definitely didn't want them drinking this awful water. And so what I did was I then created Mr. Waterman to make it fun for the kids. And my boys, they liked it, and I just got excited about, you know, sharing with them. When kids saw that their brain was 74% water, they felt that, hey, if I drink clean, healthy water, then I'm gonna be smarter. I'm like, well, pretty much I think that might help it. You know, it's gonna help for sure, you know, and so that's why we created a body chart to show people exactly why it's beneficial to drink clean, healthy water.
Well, the whole thing about it too is, and this is something I know you're all about because we talked about it through the International Water Tasting, is that water should become part of the overall diet, the meals that people have, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Right.
And many times people are drinking, you know, soft drinks, you know, which has salt and sugars and all these other kinds of things in it. And people need more water.
Yeah, we need more water because, as you can see, your body is composed of all these different organs that need water constantly. And if you are drinking water, say 30 minutes before you eat your dinner, it's going to help your digestive system things flow like they should. And then you wake up in the morning, you know, it wakes up your organs. So and it's important to drink water before you go to bed at night, because it's been known and noted that it can help prevent heart attacks while you sleep. So, but once again, if you look at your heart, and the blood that's going through your heart is 83% water, it only seems right that if I drink more water, then the blood flowing through my heart is going to function better.
Absolutely.
I mean, you know, it's really a common sense thing when it comes to this, but sometimes sense ain't common to some people.
Well, the whole thing, and this is just the image of this young man here as far as having water. We need to encourage people to have water all the time.
Yeah, that's a special little guy there.
That's a handsome little man.
Thank you.
It must be something near and dear to your heart.
My grandson.
Looking at this one though, you're looking at water, looking at the globe, and we're just about running out of time. So tell us, where do you think Mr. Waterman and Artesian Water Partners are going to be, say, next 5, 10, 15 years?
Well, you know, I think with the opportunity of meeting great people like yourself, to identify the issues and standing on what is really good for our people worldwide, then that's how it's going to make our company catapult to the level it should be in providing clean, healthy water, clean water solutions, not only in the United States but globally. And we think we should be a pioneer, or if not the pioneer that we are, but a leader in making sure that
Well,
happens.
you actually are a pioneer. This is Taft Gaddy, CEO of Artesian Water Partners. Also, he's an educator going into the schools, doing it through TV and other ways. And it goes by Mr. Waterman. And thank you for being with us as we look around the globe as we create the Emerald Planet.
Too many women get hit by their boyfriends and husbands. Too many women are pressured into having unprotected sex. Half of the people in the world living with AIDS are women. It doesn't have to be this way. Together, we can change this reality. Let's strive for a world free of violence.
At Volunteers of America, we don't just give kids a way to stay off the streets. We give them the tools they need to reach their full potential. We don't just help the elderly receive needed care. We help them live life to the fullest. We don't just provide food for homeless individuals and families. We provide job training and placement so they can buy groceries. Volunteers of America is a national organization that for over 100 years has provided programs and services that allow people to overcome their challenges to become vital members of their community. At Volunteers of America, we don't just help people, we help people help themselves. Find out how you can support the programs that are working in your community. Contact Volunteers of America today. Call 1-800-899-0089.
Drivers face all kinds of distractions.
Guys, stop playing now. 127 consecutive.
Before your wireless phone becomes one of them, stop. Drive safely. Keep your phone in easy reach and dial sensibly. In bad weather or traffic, call later and use a hands-free device. Remember, with wireless, safety is your call.
to the Inside Scoop Emerald Planet. Here again, your host, Dr. Sam.
Hello and welcome to the Emerald Planet as we come to you from Washington, D.C. in the United States as we're looking around the globe for those 1,000 best practices, technology, services, products, and of course the leaders are making a difference as we move through the 21st century. And one of the greatest challenges that we have on the planet as we go to 9 billion people by 2050 is how we're going to have enough water and how we're going to be able to educate the people to know about the water that they have. And it's an education, and it's also the abundance of water that is actually going to increase and enhance the quality of life, not just for existence. And I have a gentleman sitting right beside me. This is Taft Gaddy. He's the CEO of Artesian Water Partners and Educator. Goes under the moniker of Mr. Waterman, as anybody could readily tell from that. But he's introducing actually a colleague of his, Talib Karim, who is the Executive Director of STEM for us, creating STEM opportunities for all in the United States. And so, Taft, thank you for being here on Emerald Planet.
Yes, thank you for having us here.
Glad to have you here. We're talking about water, but at the same time, we're also talking about STEM, which is the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Why is STEM so important, and what's about what Mr. Karim is doing very vital for the future of the United States, but also even the world?
Well, science, technology, engineering, and math, as you can see with all the technology you have here in the studio, is very important for our very survival, you know. But as far as STEM is concerned, we are using this particular model to stress how important it is for students to understand and start loving math, and start loving science, so it can be a part of them, because we need to be able to keep up with the other nations as it relates to science, as it relates to math, and how to come in and be involved in cybersecurity and all the other types of forms of technology that's really key to our survival in this country as well as abroad. And so what Artesian Water Partners, Mr. Waterman, had got involved with STEM for U.S. is because water is definitely a part of it. And there's some major technology involving purifying water, involving water solutions that involve STEM. It's biology all day. Water is biology all day, so, you know, science.
Well, this Mr. Karim, I've heard good things about him and also the organization STEM for Us. And looking at his work, why would he be reaching out to an organization like you? You're kind of a mix. You're doing for-profit work, but also you're really a social enterprise, which means you're doing good work at the same time of actually creating jobs and business. What's about this collaboration that Mr. Karim was really looking for?
Well, one is the community engagement. What we do is socially impacted the community as well. His involvement with Congress and letting Congress know how important it is for STEM and how important they need to fund these different types of programs in the universities, because if we don't fund these types of programs, these science, technology, engineering, and math, then we will not be able to keep up with the other India and China and all these other countries when it relates to high technology. So we don't want to not do the best we can utilizing the skills and talents that we've been blessed with.
Looking at the connection between STEMs for Us and also Artesian Water Partners, why is it important that you be involved in this from the standpoint of the technologies and the knowledge that relates to water, which is really the primary focus of your organization?
Well, one of the reasons why is that I'm working on something currently with some universities in the area to show students how to make reverse osmosis water systems. And in showing them how to make reverse osmosis water systems, they'll be able to sustain themselves and create their own clean water solutions where they can have purified water at the point of use in their home. So no other universities right now are really showing students how to purify their own drinking water to secure that they have this type of water. And because of the industry will be geared towards water purification, hydrologists will be needed. And so, and what I do and what the science and technology piece about what we like to share with the world is that, you know, different types of ways of purifying water and making water potable, from drinking it from a little pond in Africa or South America, to let people know that they'll be able to drink some clean, healthy water because someone took initiative to find a better way.
Yeah, and many countries, they're rapidly running out of potable water as far as for the citizens, because even though some countries are slowing down as far as population growth, you still have India and many other countries, just like the African continent, going from 850 million people to over 1 billion, possibly by 2020. So this is a real challenge. And then if you're living, whether you're living in the interior or along the coast, is how do you get that water and how do you actually treat it so that it is something that's good and pure for people to drink. So looking at this STEM for us, that in turn then directly relates to global issues as far as water and the pure water?
Yes, because one thing with the STEM, not long ago we had an opportunity to go to Haiti and to look at a reason why we should have clean, healthy water for that country. And what happened, we were going to take the refuse, the garbage, burn the trash, turn the garbage into steam. By turning garbage into steam, it was going to be able to power electricity to the shanty towns. By powering the electricity to the shanty towns will enable us to power a desalination plant, which removes salt from the ocean. And so that is a part of science, technology, engineering, and math, in which we would like to endeavor in as well. So yeah, there's some things we like to do.
So it's a very broad base as far as the technology is concerned. What are some of the ideas or concepts? I know that you were presenting along with Mr. Karim and the STEM for Us, two members of the Congress, both the House and the Senate. So what kind of ideas did Mr. Karim and yourself want to convey to members of Congress? Well,
most importantly is that we have the access to capital in order to bring in the professionals who have dedicated their lives to technology, who have dedicated their lives to the ingenuity of coming up with new, innovative, and creative forms of ways to communicate through these fiber optics or non-fiber optics, or just being able to take a brain that need to be nurtured and filled with more intellect, so they can do some of the things that we need to do in order to better our world and our country.
Looking at going before Congress, I know that you're invited by Mr. Karim to be a part of that. So from the standpoint of Mr. Waterman and also the Artesian Water Partners, what are some of the things that he really wanted you to come in and share to the members of Congress that he felt like was important, not just for what you're doing, but also as far as his nonprofit organization itself? Well,
being a nonprofit and what he's doing is that the science aspect of clean, healthy water, clean water solutions is definitely a part of what he is involved in as far as introducing STEM. And so you can't have STEM without involving water, along with the other technologies that's there. But he wanted water to be included because it's one of 3 non-optional elements necessary to our health and our very survival.
Right. Now, looking at some of the things that you've learned through this relationship with STEM for Us, what are some of the ideas or concepts that you've been able to gain from this relationship that you are now taking and fusing with the messages and the educational materials you're actually sharing with the schools K-12?
Well, one is we know now that we have some opportunities to create hydroponics, growing of plants, and that's part of science, and you know, so we can have our own clean, healthy food to eat, and that's important for students to know as well. Then also the hydroponics, then we're looking at the coding that's very successful now in computers and what we need to know about that. And that's another thing that I'm learning more about through being with Brother Karim. And then cybersecurity, which we all know is huge and key. And what we want to do is enable students as well as create a workforce development for us to show folks how to be involved in the cybersecurity and creating these networks so we can stamp out the bad guys.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is one of the things as far as cybersecurity that people are learning more and more is that virtually everything now is dependent on the World Wide Web,
yes,
the Internet of Things that they call it, but yet most of this actually is unsecure.
Absolutely.
And so the whole thing about just thinking about your water supply, or the food supply, the electricity, all these things are vulnerable to attack at any time by anyone that really wants to. That really still goes back into all this STEM education.
Mm-hmm. Now, you mentioned the security of our water sources. For me, that's why it's so important that we teach our students how to make a reverse a water purification system so they can know that at least I can have my own water cleaned in my home at the point of use. At least I can use an ultraviolet light that can remove bacteria from my home water right now. I can do that. If something was to happen, God forbid, where some of the bad guys want to help damage our water, terrorists to our water, and we can clean our own water because we got the technology and the skill set. And every student need to know how to clean their own water and how to perform when they have to. So that's one thing we need to have in order to live, and that's water. So I'm for educating our young people on to clean their own water.
Well, this is one of the things too, as you know, Mr. Waterman, is that we're becoming so dependent on the grid. But the grid is vulnerable, so the more that we can do to have people that are off-grid take care of themselves as much as possible is the best way. What do you see for the growth of this STEM for us over the next 5, 10, 15 years with the Executive Director, Karim?
I think we
have to be quick.
Okay, as we learn the new technologies and these innovative and creative minds come together collectively, that we'll be able to create a better grid, a better mousetrap in order to provide the type of secure power sources that we need, and that will enable us to further advancement in our world.
And also the water system.
In our water system
water,
as well.
Purification.
Yes.
We're talking about Talib Karim, who is the Executive Director of STEM for Us, creating STEM opportunities for all the United States. This is Mr. Waterman sitting right beside me. And thank you for being with us. We look around the globe to create the Emerald Planet.
Saving for retirement might be easy for some folk, but for others, it might take a little more work. And for those who haven't started, there are still things you can do to catch up.
Oh, that is good news.
Like getting out from underneath past debt. And don't get wrapped up with high-interest credit cards.
Get you some eyes.
Be diversified with your investments. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Your financial goals are not out of reach. The choice is clear. For a happy ending, choose to save.
Everyone with alcohol and drug addiction is in the same boat. With treatment, you can find solid ground. For drug and alcohol information and treatment referral for you or someone you know, call 1-800-662-HELP.
Dude, are you sure you want this tattoo? Because just do it.
Some mistakes in life are permanent. Like hearing loss. To learn how to protect your hearing, visit asha.org.
You've probably heard about heart disease, but did you know that it's the #1 killer of women nationwide? Heart disease claims more lives each year than breast cancer, lung cancer, or strokes combined. But there are steps you can take to protect yourself against it. For more information on how you can prevent heart disease, contact your local American Heart Association or visit their website at www.americanheart.org.
to the Inside Scoop Emerald Planet. Here again, your host, Dr. Sam.
As we come to you on a week-to-week basis from Washington, D.C. and the United States, as we look around the globe in 144 different nations, looking for those 1,000 best practices that are making a difference. Those that are sustainable and going to be renewable and also allow us to grow and develop as we add 2 billion people to the planet by 2050. And I have a gentleman is really looking into all these things and how do we reach out to the youth in education, but at the same time to talk about the food, the fuel, the fiber, and most of all, the water that's going to be able to accommodate a planet by 9 billion people. Mr. Taft Gaddy is here, the CEO of Artesian Water Partners. He's an educator and he goes under the name of Mr. Waterman. You can see his outfit he has on. And he's introducing Eric Taylor, who is the founder, producer of what's called the Good Time Kids out of Chicago, Illinois. It's a TV program there. And Taft actually had a chance to be featured on it. And you can see him here. And I'm going to see if I can actually come up with the, let me see if I can minimize this. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do that. So we'll come back to that video in just a minute and see if we can get that on. Anyway, tell us a little bit about the Good Time Kids. What is that organization? I know it's a TV program, but just tell us about it.
Well, the Good Time Kids is a group of young people that Eric Taylor and some others put together. They saw a need to involve children in something new and wholesome, that sort of like the Mickey Mouse Club back in the day, to bring that back into the fold, to bring something clean and healthy to our children to participate in. And with this, they've done all kinds of shows and musicals and inviting the people to come to their studios to watch the kids sing, to share in the community some of the basic things such as math and science, once again. That
talking about STEM.
Talking about STEM, they do that. And then also they get the kids together just to do little skits and things that may have touching on personal hygiene or personal behavior, how you treat and love one another, peace, happiness. So those are some of the things that they teach, personal well-being. And this is something that's needed in our community because, you know, you have the bullying and all of that. So they do skits and show kids, this is not the way you want to treat people.
Right, yeah.
You know.
And I know one of the big issues too, and we're not going to dwell on this at all, but you know, just suicide among youth today is really, it's an increasing program, and then violence within the communities, and of course everything else that's going on. Let's see if we can click on this and look at Taft Gaddy, Mr. Waterman, as he's shown on TV in Chicago, Illinois.
Said a lot. Let's do a human body water breakdown.
Debbie and I are going to give you a breakdown to show you that your body is mostly water.
And we're going to do that by showing you some fun facts.
Let's get started. Out of your entire body, 70% of it is water. Now for the breakdown. We're going to give you the facts from head to toe.
Brain is made up about 74.5% of water.
Out of all the blood in your body, 83% of it is water.
The kidney is 76% water.
Even your bones are 22% water.
Your muscles are 82% water.
I hope you learned something. Now, go out and share with your friends.
Now I know that you learned something from that. Let's get back to those questions. Is Mr. Waterman available everywhere?
Currently, we're working on distribution throughout the United States and the world. You can get it at MrWaterman.com, and you can get it at the Good Time Kids Clubhouse.
Yes, right here at the Good Time Kids Clubhouse with me and the other GTK family members. Now, I know Mr. Waterman I know Mr. Waterman isn't the only character. How did you come up with all of the other characters?
Well, I thought that Mr. Waterman needed some sidekicks and to help fight the childhood obesity and everything. So I created some characters, Aqualia and Geronimo, to help fight the toxins such as Danny diabetes and Charlie obesity.
Yes. Now, let's meet some of those characters.
Debbie and I are going to be introducing the toxins.
The villains. Charlie obesity.
Harry headache.
Danny diabetes.
Lori cholesterol.
Sabrina blood pressure.
Canny cancer. These are the toxins.
You just met the toxins. Now it's time to meet Mr. Waterman's super team. Aqualia. Geronimo. Dakari. Navia. And Maya.
Now, bring out the whole team. They are winners just like the Good Time Kids.
Those characters are really cool. And thank you so much for letting me interview you today.
Thank you.
You are now an official member of our GTK family.
All right.
This has been a fun, wet, and thirst-quenching interview.
Okay, that's absolutely fantastic. Looking at all these characters, you and I chatted about this several different times. Tell us about the creation of these characters. The ones, the bad guys, if we can look at it that way.
Yes.
And then the saviors of getting rid of all the bad guys as far as high cholesterol, blood pressure, and all these other things that modern society has thrust upon us, but we gladly accept every time we go out and eat improperly and don't drink enough water.
That's right. So the superheroes idea came because I knew kids, if they had something, anything kids can relate to, their parents will also. Because I'm a parent. And I had my 4 sons, and anything, any Ninja Turtle device or whatever they wanted, I would get for them. And so I figured if I can just introduce something that's going to help children drink more water, understanding the importance of it, utilizing that body chart, then that's why I thought we would use that. And you know, the superheroes, Danny diabetes, he's he's just a guy who if we drink too many sugary drinks and eat too much starches and stuff like that, we will increase our higher blood sugar. And then, Charlie obesity, if we don't exercise and diet and eat properly, we will be obese. Mm-hmm. If the kids don't get off that couch and stop playing video games, they will become obese. It's a fact. And, Sabrina blood pressure, you see our blood is 83% water. So if we're not putting good, clean water in to flush the toxins out of our blood, then of course we're going to have high blood pressure.
Now, looking at the, I just think it's fantastic, the Good Time Kids, and you were talking a little bit about them earlier. But as far as Eric Taylor, how did he conceive of this notion, and how did he come up with that? Because in a sense, it really runs almost in parallel with Mr. Waterman. Yeah, well, I met Eric. I was involved in a conference, and Eric had a representative there, and they saw me talk about Mr. Waterman, and I had a comic book about the superheroes. And he said, you'd be good for our TV show. And so, because this is something that we're doing, we want kids to be aware of childhood obesity, and that they need to diet more and be more mindful of hydrating themselves properly. And so that's how Eric and I became friends. And so we're looking to engage in further dialogue and introducing more solutions for children in and around the Chicago area as well as all over the world. Mm-hmm. Looking at the interviewers and the kids that were involved in the production of this, I think it was absolutely fantastic. Thank you. Looking at the interaction, this is something that was very mild but yet still potent as far as the storyline is concerned and all that. How is that a reflection on what you're actually doing in the schools when you go in and give your seminars and presentations? I think the excitement from the kids, them enjoying knowing that, hey,
you know, we didn't know this before until Mr. Waterman stepped on the scene, and now that we know, then this is huge. And that's what we wanted to convey, and it's contagious. And if we go in with the state of mind of, you know, we're just here to share information, and these are the benefits, boys and girls, then if the kid's gonna like it, the parents gonna like it too.
Now looking at, this is the whole thing about the extended family. This is something I was raised in 4-H, and this was the whole thing about, you know, you teach the children in order to reach the adults.
That's right.
And you have the same concept.
That's my concept.
What are you doing as far as the youth so that they're not just sitting in the classroom, hey, this is wonderful things. How do you then say, okay, this needs to go back to your mom and dad, your auntie, your grandmother, your special caregiver that you have in your family? How does this get disseminated through these families and then long-term into the community?
You know, one of the things we're currently putting together is the involvement more of the PTA, because you get
Parent-Teachers Associations.
Parent-Teachers Associations, by getting them involved and they're seeing that the kids is involved, and we got the superhero, this guy who's just coming in to make sure that we do the right thing. Then parents, I've never seen that. It's something that children can relate to, something their parents will also, simply because they want their kids to have the best. And I don't think there's any parent that know that they can give their kids some clean, healthy water. It's going to help fight some of these toxins that we saw. I don't think, I think that movement, this is what we're doing, is not, we're combating childhood obesity, but it's a movement. And anytime you have a movement, that consists of everybody, mama, daddy, sister, brother, grandma, so everybody's involved.
And collaborating with Eric Taylor, who is the founder and producer as far as the Good Time Kids out of Chicago, what do you see for the growth potential for Mr. Waterman, Artesian Water, and also for Good Time Kids?
Well,
we got to be quick.
One of the reasons Eric isn't here right now, because he had a big conference with Hasbro, the toy company. And so they're doing something with them, and so there may be some opportunities for us in relates to the images of Mr. Waterman and the superheroes to promote through maybe that kind of connection. So we're working together in tandem.
It's all about collaboration,
Absolutely.
Right? It's fantastic. Well, this is Mr. Waterman, Taft Gaddy, who is CEO of Artesian Water Partners, and he's talking about Eric Taylor, founder and producer of the Good Time Kids TV out of Chicago, Illinois. Thank you for being with us as we look this issue of water, as we look around the globe to create the Emerald Planet.
So they say it's a man's world? I don't see anybody's name on it. While they were doing their thing, we slowly changed all that. Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
Open enrollment is back. Enroll Virginia wants you to get covered for 2016 and beyond. You have until January 31st to enroll in affordable health care. If you wish to have coverage by January 1st, you must enroll by December 15th. That's less than a month from now. Remember, the penalty for not having health insurance next year is a minimum of $695 per person. Don't think twice about it. To find an enrollment event near you or to get free help with the application, visit our webpage or give us a call. El periodo de inscripción ha comenzado. Enroll Virginia quiere que tú y tu familia tengan cobertura médica este próximo 2016. Tienes hasta el 31 de enero para inscribirte. Si deseas cobertura desde el 1 de enero, debes inscribirte antes del 15 de diciembre. Recuerda que si no tienes cobertura el próximo año, te multarán una suma mínima de $695 por cada adulto. No lo pienses más y visita nuestra página para más información o para ayuda con la solicitud.
Hey, Hard, what's this? That's my resignation letter. You're resigning. Why? Because you're constantly ignoring me. You're half as active as you used to be, and you eat stuff like this. You've been putting me under a lot of pressure lately. That's why I'm ready to quit. I forgot. I'll do better. Please, don't quit on me. Okay. But remember, it's not what you say. It's what you do.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you.
Let's go for a walk.
Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
We're back to the Inside Scoop Emerald Planet. Here again, your host, Dr. Sam.
Hello and welcome to the Emerald Planet as we come to you from Washington, D.C. in the United States as we're looking around the globe for those 1,000 best practices, technology, services, products, and of course the leaders are making a difference as we move through the 21st century. And one of the greatest challenges that we have on the planet as we go to 9 billion people by 2050 is how we're going to have enough water and how we're going to be able to educate the people to know about the water that they have. And it's an education, and it's also the abundance of water that is actually going to increase and enhance the quality of life, not just for existence. And I have a gentleman sitting right beside me, Taft Gaddy, who is the CEO of Artesian Water Partners and Educator, as Mr. Waterman, looking absolutely fantastic in his outfit. And he's actually going to be introducing the Glacier Beverage Company of Tucson, Arizona. And this is Pete Odeven, Vice President of Operations for Glacier, has been collaborating with Taft for many years now in providing the actual technologies, but also the water, as far as what he's doing with Artesian Water Partners. And really, the whole thing about what he's doing is to provide education and information to youth around the United States about the importance of and how to protect water, but also he's very much involved in how do actually people be able to increase their own water supply from their own home. So this is kind of a mix of this whole thing of being off-grid, but also being grid-tied, where actually you're producing your own quality water, maybe increase the supply from within your own structure, and at the same time to provide the very best quality of water that there is. So Taft, Mr. Waterman, welcome to the Emerald Planet TV.
Thank you.
Glad to have you with us. And we're just talking a little bit about the relationship as far as what you're doing with the Glacier Beverage Company. Tell us a little bit about this organization out in Tucson, Arizona, and the relationship with Artesian Water.
Okay, Glacier Beverage is a company that we discovered a few years ago, and over a period of time actually. And I think that what has happened is that they've been able to help us provide natural artesian alkaline or natural alkaline water to our customers. They helped us design our brand, our label, and to have it look like we have right now, it looks like this. And this is our Mr. Waterman brand. And so Glacier has helped us to put this together, and we're very happy with the Glacier and what they've done.
That's absolutely fantastic, and that's a very nice label indeed. And also too is that the outfit that you have is absolutely fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
Running around with all the muscular that you have. Tell us a little bit about the vision and the objectives as far as Glacier itself is concerned, and why would you consider collaborating with them? That's a long way from Washington, D.C.
Glacier, they provide private label for hundreds of companies, large ones that you've probably heard of. And so with that background and their size in the industry and being able to do what we needed them to do, it would seem just like a perfect fit. Because of who they worked for before and their customer and their clientele. They deliver when they say they're on time, on point, and so that has been what we've discovered in our partnership with Glacier.
Mm-hmm. Looking at the technologies they're using and also the source of their water, tell us a little bit about the source, and then the processing they use that provides the absolute highest quality for all the people that you're actually servicing within the Mid-Atlantic region of the United States.
Well, they provide the natural spring water that comes from several different springs around the Midwest. We have over 14 different water sources that draw for the water for the lower 48 states. Then we have plants that purify drinking water using the reverse osmosis, ultraviolet light, they use ozone in order to put back the ozone into the actual water itself. So there's a process that's used in several different plants in order to provide the clean, healthy water to the southern region, to the northern region, the western region, and the eastern region.
Now, looking at these 14 different sources, this is one of the things that many people are concerned about as we're going forward. There's less and less potable water in many areas. There's extreme drought across the West, not only just in the United States, but in Australia, India, China, Brazil, South, you just named the major societies around the globe, and they're in drought conditions. So looking at this diversity as far as the sources, how do you think this is one of the answers that you have as far as having a constant supply to be able to provide to your customers?
Well, having a constant supply is one for the engineers to go out and identify where the water is. Once we identify where the water is, or someone who's looking to sell some property that has, say, aquifer on the plant, on the place, the land, then that would be a formidable water source that we can draw from and create the natural alkaline water that's present there. Or we can take municipal water, as we do, to purify the water that's coming out of those pipes that we talked about earlier. But as it goes through the pipe, it goes through a process of a carbon filter, a micron pre-filter, then a reverse osmosis membrane, which is a thin film composite that removes sediments and other bacteria using the reverse water pressure, and it then stored in a pressurized storage tank. Those are some of the different mechanisms that are used in technology and STEM that's used. It all plays in to everything that we've talked about today.
Yeah, you're talking about STEM as far as the science and technology and science and mathematics.
Yes, yes. So it's all relative.
Right, it's all. And
can't get away from it.
Well, in today's world, you can't get away from technology, but really one of the things that you're looking at is that through the STEM connection. And the organization STEM for Us, which is headquartered and located in Washington, D.C. area, is to have youth that are going through the educational system and then to be able to purify so they can establish their own businesses. Tell us a little bit about this concept of, youth being able to, in essence, produce their own water.
See, just like me, when I first saw this 25, 26 years ago, I didn't know I would be doing this 25 years later, but because of the need, because of the market that is there, and then because of the news that says that our water sources are not going to get any better, it's not going to get better. So I just thought it would be proactive as opposed to reactive. And so in taking the skills and knowledge that I've been blessed with, I figured if I share it with somebody else, then they can leave and they can use it and pass it on to the next generation. And that's what we're supposed to do. We're not here to just hoard in everything that we learn over all these many years and then not share it with anybody. What purpose is it? For what? So that's my spirit behind all of this, and to share and to make sure that the next generation, if I can't have nothing else in life, I'm gonna have me some clean water to drink.
Well, and that's really the essence of life.
That's the essence of life. Exactly.
Now, looking at the work you're doing with the Glacier Beverage company with Artesian Water, what are you learning there? Because you go into the schools, you spend a lot of time trying to educate children, K-12, as far as what is good quality water, how to protect your water, why it's important as far as the family is concerned, important to the community. So what are you learning through this collaborative relationship that maybe you would not have known had you not had this kind of relationship?
I think what I've learned is that there are some companies that would take a vision that you may have and say, you know what, man, we're gonna help you bring it to fruition. We're gonna help you brand it, give you the quality water that you need, set up the distribution channels, or just making sure that wherever we say the product is going to go, it's going to be there on time. So that's what I've learned and gained in the relationship that I have with Glacier.
Yeah, you've been working with the Vice President, Peter Odeven, and obviously you have a very good working relationship. Yeah. Tell me about that relationship, and not just from the standpoint of how it's really benefiting Taft Gaddy, but how these kinds of relationships we can pass on that knowledge about how to have these for the future for these generations of students that you're talking to in the schools, and saying, if you can do this, you have this kind of attitude, you can also create these kinds of relationships.
Well, I think one is that Pete saw a company, a young company, or a company in need of a partner. And he liked the concept of Mr. Waterman. He thought it was just such a great idea because all the kids need to be drinking more water. They already had hundreds of customers that they provided water for. But because this was different, unique, a niche market, and they felt that, you know, we were on the threshold of some cutting edge type of product, then we want to be a part of it. They're here, we're here, let's make it happen. Mm-hmm. So that's what came out of our relationship, and that's why we're still growing today.
Mm-hmm. Looking at it, what's some of the, just 1 or 2 lessons that you've actually learned yourself that's really helped you improve your own organization as you go forward, say over the next 5, 10, 15 years, and we have only about 20 seconds to do all of that?
Patience. Patience and your plan, the 2 P's. Have patience and have a plan. Mm-hmm. That's what I've learned.
That's fantastic. You still have 10 seconds. What would you suggest to any young people watching this right now about their future and water?
I would tell any young person that it's easy to be ordinary, it takes courage to excel, and excel you must.
That's absolutely fantastic. Well, this is Taft Gaddy. He's the CEO of Artesian Water Partners and an educator. Goes under the moniker of Mr. Waterman. We like those muscles, Mr. Waterman. Working with Pete Odeven, who is the Vice President of the Operations for Glacier Beverage Company. Thank you for being with us, Mr. Waterman.
Yes.
Thank you for being with us as we create the Emerald Planet.